It's been a turbulent week in the world politically and cryptally as Trump intervenes in the Israel-Iran conflict. The markets responded with fear and then bounced back when it appeared that all would be okay. It's turbulence that we're used to by now, but it doesn't mean you don't feel it when the shaking's going on. Offline, Travis and I have been discussing the Bristol scale and wondering if you can chart Bitcoin prices along with your charts. Get ready for more turbulence as we discuss the charts and the farts on this bad news episode number 780 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
This episode guaranteed to be shark-tastic.
what a week since we've last been with you, our listeners, to this week. We've seen some serious military action, and we've seen the markets respond dramatically, and then we've seen them come right back to where we were last week. It was almost like we were away for a week and everything's exactly as it was, and yet some real stuff happened.
It's mind-boggling to me. Now, Bitcoin did dip below 100,000.
Yes.
I saw it hit 99 something. And when
Yep.
that happened, I was like, okay, well, here it is. Here's the Israel-Iran backlash. And then it just popped back up. Like,
Fear.
I mean, well, definitely it was fear, and the fear is forthright. I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't be concerned about it. And I mean, I've paid attention to some people that are on the ground there in Israel, and they've said, Netanyahu hadn't said that he accepts these terms publicly anywhere that they can see, and they're still bombing each other. And so,
Well, Trump's about to turn his back. I don't know if you saw what he did today on his way, the press interview
he dropped an F-bomb.
on the White House lawn on live TV.
Yeah.
He dropped the F-bomb, and he's like, from the very get-go, he's been clear for 10 years that Iran cannot have nuclear materials to make nuclear bombs. That's all he said. He's not said he wanted to get into a war with Iran. He's not saying that he was, fighting on behalf of Israel against Iran. He's saying they can't have nukes. That's it. So what did he do? He went in there in a true amazing display of American military superiority. They didn't even know that the Iranian military had no idea that our fighters, our bombers were in there,
37 hours in flight, refueled in Hawaii, refueled in Guam, refueled somewhere over the Indian Ocean.
Out of Missouri, by the way.
Out of Missouri.
Flew,
you see those stealths all the time over Arrowhead.
Yeah, and they dropped a bomb.
You ever seen a stealth bomber? You're like, dude, that looks straight out of Area 51. When first time you see it, you're like, holy shit. I bet I've seen a stealth bomber probably 30, 40 times at this point. They always fly over Arrowhead. They're always really impressive. But to fly 37 hours there and then back, like, that is pretty crazy. Now, I look at it from a perspective of, I think that there are a lot of Iranian terrorists loose in America.
Sure.
Because I think they've opened up the doors, and I think that it's possible that they might do a false flag on us, or if Israel doesn't like the way things are going, they do a false flag here and blame it on Iran, so that way we get full on. So everybody who's kind of gloating about, oh, look at how great we've done, I'm like, dude, this is like the second quarter to me. I don't think
Trump is going to get sucked in. I just don't.
That's why they would have the false flag, because if Iran comes in and drops a nuke in New York City, guess what? They're going full all in on Iran. There's no way around it. And all it takes is one idiot rogue in Mossad to do that and say, here's what our plan is going to be. We don't care about these people here. Boom. Oh, it happened in Chicago. Oh, it happens in Austin, Texas, or wherever it ends up happening. If they do that, that's what would get it's just like what happened with 9/11. I don't know if you saw this not so long ago, but a plane hit a building in India and that building did not collapse. Not
Amazing.
that they have a super strong buildings. It's like that was a false flag that drove us in to disrupt all the shit in the Middle East and
But
spend billions of dollars in
again,
the thing. So
the assumption here is that Trump's just going to fall for it. And I think that he's surrounded himself with smart people. They're wise, and I don't think it's going to be that easy to get involved. And all of these people crying, "Oh no, we started World War III!" Like, you people just need to take a breath, and everybody stop trying to be a geopolitical expert here, because none of us know what the hell's going on.
we
None of
don't. But I
us.
would say this is that the CIA fucked up in 1979 and got let the Shah get ousted, and they put in the Ayatollah in this
Regime
this
change.
this regime. There needs to be a regime change, period. And then guess what? Iran can probably have nukes in the future, but not under this regime.
Yep.
This regime, they hate America. They scream death to America from the streets, but not the Israeli or not the Iranian people, not the Persians. They love America.
Of course they
Most
do.
of them. Most of them.
They want to be free. They want to
Yeah.
be free people. They don't,
The regime changes, Joel. They're going to see women are going to take their things off their head. They're going to be a Western country. They're not going to be Islamic.
right.
It's like I said 85, 90% of the people there do not like the fact that they're under that regime. So that seems they're going to change big time, it would seem.
So let's see how this is impacting the crypto world. Timestamp. It is the 24th of June at 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we look at CoinGecko.com. The crypto market cap 3.38 trillion. Bitcoin 105,809. Nice numbers right there. Ethereum 2444. XRP $2.20. BNB 642. Solana 144. Tron 27 cents. Doge 16.5 cents. And this is let's zoom in here on Bitcoin and let's just look at the last 7 days. There it is. On the 20th of June, we're at 106,000. Stuff happens, drops, people get fearful. We hit 98,974 on June 22nd. 2 days later, we are back at 106. It's this is the life of Bitcoin right here. This is the volatility that you sign up for when you're into this. And it would have been a good time to pull the trigger right there. Some quick 5% profit
It
on
wouldn't have
that
been a bad idea,
pullback.
but you don't. There's that uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the fear; it's the uncertainty and doubt. They do call it FUD, but it's not because the Elmer FUD. It's because things like that happen, and it's like it's almost like you hope for the best, but you don't always expect it, you know? And so when it hit 99, like, oh, that'd be a great time to buy, but do you expect it? Man, if we get some peace in the Middle East, Joel, we're going to see 150, 180K Bitcoin probably by the middle early part of October. If
Well,
not,
and
what are we going to say that? What are we going to see? I don't
we
know.
also require Jerome Powell and the Fed to lower the interest rates, and it's got to be coming in July. It's just they've dragged this on for so long, and Trump has been out there saying on social media, "Look, the UK has lowered interest rates 10 times
Right.
since COVID, 10 times, and we've not moved once." This is all about Jerome Powell trying to make his administration look bad, and honestly, even objectively, it's hard to disagree with that take.
But he's a Republican, and didn't Trump nominate him in the first term? And it just turns out that he's just one of those TDS turds, right?
Yeah.
By the way, have you ever met any white dude named Jerome? Any other white dude? Any?
I don't know.
What about Reggie? It's like Reggie,
Yeah,
like Reggie,
I knew a Reggie. I did know a
white dude
Reggie.
named Reggie.
You know why I haven't met? I
He
haven't
was a
met a white
Reginald.
dude. I've never met a white dude named Shaniqua. That's
Mm, okay. Well, because maybe they would change his name. A white dude, he'd be like, now I'm
nah,
Shanique.
now I'm Shaniqua. This is me now.
I'm Shanique O'Neal. That's good. That's good. But no, I was thinking about that. I've never seen a white dude named Jerome. That needs to be like, it's like he's got his own legacy right there. Like, you know, white dude named Jerome. That's pretty good.
I'm Jerome, bitches. So some of the
Everybody I've known
coverage.
named Reggie, I've been able to get weed from, by the way. True
That's how you
story.
know. That's how you know you got a weed dealer. It's just look for
Yeah.
some dude named Reggie.
Literally, I've known like 4 or 5 Reggies, and then whenever I meet a new Reggie, I'll be like, "You think so? You can give me some weed?" But now it's like, "Yeah, dude, just go down to the dispensary." So I think that is going to work forever.
along with what you said, that if there's true ceasefire and peace in the Middle East, others are saying, similar outcomes. This analyst sees a 23.5% Bitcoin spike if this happens. We've already recovered to 106,000. Whether or not the ceasefire is a thing or not, I'll tell you what, if Trump is pissed off at Israel and Iran.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to get involved and says, "Hey, look, we're out. You guys can bomb each other if you want to, but we're out," then I think that they're going to that Israel will slow their roll. I think that Israel depends on us to support. And
Yeah,
so
I actually think Israel and Iran both need regime changes. Netanyahu's been in there for far too long, and he's kind of a warmonger. Like he likes, I mean, like I think you probably could have laid off Gaza after Gaza was rubble. Like it's already rubble. Like how much do you still need to keep bombing them? You don't. Like he needs to be throttled back, and nobody talks to Daddy Bibi to throttle him back. And so I think that's a problem. Like he's kind of a problem
here
in my
here's that could be. Here's one of the guys that tweeted this. Elite options trader says Bitcoin is showing serious signs of life after spending over 7 months coiled under the massive 109,000 resistance. Today's price action could be the spark that ignites the next leg higher. We're finally seeing Bitcoin wake up, and that's true. The longer you are in a period of not a lot of movement, that it's just coiling up for its next leg up. Because if I need to remind everybody, in case you're watching the video version of this, when you look at Bitcoin, the max chart dating back to early 2013, this is what happens. Bitcoin go up, adoption go up, institutional investment go up, enterprise go up, Bitcoin treasuries go up. This is what it does.
We got
And
such a weird chart though. If you look at the other charts compared to this one, like you had that bump that popped up before the halving, which was weird,
Mhm.
right? That we passed the all-time high. Now a lot of people will say that's the all-time high of the previous cycle before the halving because the halving is always the next of the next run or whatever. But that was such a weird thing because it did a little pop and then it came back down
Yeah,
and then
right here was the
so weird. It
pre-halving.
popped up over it, pre-having all-time high, which was weird. So that's why I do think that we're probably not in the exact same stuff that we've seen before. This is a little different. It's not exact. They rhyme, but I don't know, man. With when you have all these countries, and then also Texas declared that they're going to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now that's another piece of news, and so now you're going to have these countries, and you're going to have these, states. You're going to have regions. You're probably going to have towns. Be like, I'm Dallas, Texas. We're going to have our own Dallas, Texas strategic reserve. So then there becomes this supply and demand. Is there going to be enough supply of Bitcoin on the open markets to be able to facilitate all these people wanting to buy? So are we going to see the big dips like we've seen before? Because I don't know that we will, Joel.
I don't think so either. And I just came across a site that I want to share, and I'm going to put in the show notes. You guys want to see links to all the stories and sites we referenced today, go to badcoat.in/780. This site right here, bitcointreasuries.net, shows the Bitcoin top treasury companies. There are over 200, let's see, it's 245 companies. 136 of them are public. You've got private companies, governments, ETFs, DeFi, and all that.
Yeah.
And this shows how the Bitcoin is spread throughout. For a total of 3.45 million Bitcoin are in some
Wow.
kind of treasuries. Getting close to 1 million in public companies. Of course, Michael Saylor makes up for the majority of that, but they're
And
all
Coinbase
increasing
only has 9,000 Bitcoin. Is that like in their treasury or
in
like
their
how much?
treasury, not on the exchange. That's their
Dude, this is
Bitcoin.
one we should bookmark and we should reference this one every week and see like, okay, 3.45 million Bitcoins in treasuries right now. There's those numbers, like take little snapshots. I'm gonna take a little snapshot
That's
right
great.
now.
Note to producer Lisa, let's keep this link in here so we can track this week to week. I find this is better. We've been using the crypto fear and greed index from CoinStats, but I don't think they update it regularly, and I
Seems
don't
to be
think
a
it's accurate.
more real thing. Like if we see, oh boom, look at the treasury spike week after week, that's that's good. Like if this is getting to 4 million Bitcoins and all, like you're seeing like these are big numbers.
These are definitely big numbers here. So, also more government adoption. The U.S. Housing Agency, FHFA, is considering digital assets like Bitcoin for mortgage collateral. Why not? It's a hard asset. It is now, accepted. And just because we don't have
Mhm.
full regulation on it yet, doesn't mean that we can't begin looking at this as why not have your
Yeah.
crypto, be held against your mortgage?
That's a no-brainer right there. It's clearly an asset. So don't be an ass hat, and you should probably have this. So that's a
Did you
nice.
know this that Bill Pulte, Pulte Homes, is the director of the FHFA?
I don't even know what Pulte homes are.
Oh, Pulte Homes is huge, and he's been on X for years. He gives away money. He's like he definitely farms engagement, but the dude's super wealthy, super successful, and turns out he is the director of the U.S. Federal Housing Finance Agency. I did not know that that took place, and seems like a really good guy, and he is definitely in on what's happening in the crypto world.
Yeah. That is pretty interesting. Also, next up in the news is a little bit about Trump Daddy. They say that the Trump Media Group says $400 million stock buyback will not affect their Bitcoin and I assume their Ethereum holdings. They are holding a lot of different assets right now, and but they said they're going to be buying back the stock, but it looks like they're going to continue to hold all of their cryptos. Now, were they listed in that
Oh,
document that we just looked at?
you know what? I don't know. I would have to reopen it again to take a look at that. But I'm curious to see if the stock buyback has impacted the price of DJT. It's sitting at $18.25 right now. So it hasn't. But don't short Trump, man. Don't short the Donald. He's like success after success with a smattering of failures. And what's really funny to me is how people get their panties in a twist because some companies he's worked have not succeeded. Like there is not a successful entrepreneur on the face of the earth who has not had their share of failures. That's the risk-taking aspect of building a company is they're not all going to work.
Hmm. That's true. Sometimes
Boo-hoo.
you get the money shot right out of the gate, like Jeffrey Preston Bezos did with Amazon. Uh, but you don't always get that. You don't get you as Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys would say, you don't always get glory holes. What he says. But he made like that. That's the old oil mining term. Like when you drill down, oh, it's a glory hole. Now that term has changed its meaning over the last few years, but he didn't realize that on live media this past year. He goes, it's not all smiles and glory holes, folks.
That's funny. More from the enterprise world, the ECD Automotive Design. They are the largest Land Rover and Jaguar restorator. They've raised $500 million to buy Bitcoin and fund their corporate growth. This has got to be going on all over, right? We're just hearing about a few stories here and there, but these Bitcoin treasuries are really going to take off. And, we're going to go from having a handful of companies that are doing it to dozens and then hundreds. And here's my question. Here's my question, Sir Lord Travis, right?
Yes, sir, sir.
Assuming that there is still the volatility that we've come to expect from Bitcoin, where it hits all-time highs, sits there, and people are like, it's going to go to 1 million, and then there's a big sell-off, and which I think is very possible still, even with all of the adoption, because it doesn't take a lot to move the price of Bitcoin because the supply is so low. So assuming that happens, are a lot of these smaller Bitcoin treasuries that are getting in later on the act going to get absolutely wrecked?
Depends on when they get in. I
Well,
mean,
I mean, from,
I saw the statistic that if Bitcoin hit like 73, 74K, then Michael Saylor would have to liquidate some to be able to stay above board. So if we see a black swan like that and things just drop, then that creates a whole problem for the whole industry. So that's something that we don't want to have happen, I would imagine. And in that list that we just looked at, DeFi, smart contract, ETFs. So ETFs is included in that $3.45 billion number. So that includes the BlackRock ETFs and all those other ETFs. So that's a pretty big number. So then you consider probably equal amount of that, 3.5 million probably lost, right? Then you got what? You got a million of Satoshi Nakamoto's that's never moved. So that's looking at 8 million right there with all those. And so you're saying the rest of it's 13 million. And then how much hasn't been mined yet? Like a million?
A million or so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's 9 million. So we literally have 12 million that's in the hands of the hodlers, and then that's period 12 million Bitcoin only.
Yeah. Here's by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Strategy has a website at strategy.com that shows you all of their metrics. So here right now, the Strategy price as of this recording is $378. Let's see, they can go below $62,500
Mm.
before they're underwater. That's how long they've been acquiring Bitcoin here. And my understanding, and we're going to discover more about Strategy and what they're
What's the total
doing with,
value of it? Where's the number for what's the total value of all their Bitcoin holding and their stock holding?
um,
Is that on that list?
let's see, enterprise value 117 billion.
$117 billion.
Looks
Okay.
like
Wow.
right here with a return, a 1 year return of 176%. Total return, I'm not sure what this number is. BSE is since August 10th when they started.
Bitcoin standard era. I see.
Yeah, 2,962. We're going to learn more about this because there's a lot that's happened with Strategy that a lot of people don't know that, but Saylor has issued 3 different preferred stocks: Stride, Strike, and I'm not sure what is this, Strife or something. And they provide dividends or interest, and that's what they're using now. We're going to learn more about this on our next episode because we're going to have our buddy John Lee Dumas, who hosts the popular Strategy Today podcast on YouTube, is going to teach us and inform us all about how Michael Saylor is doing what he's doing, what the master plan is. There's so much we don't know, and we're going to learn, Sir Lord Travis.
We're gonna learn. Yeah, I like JLD. He's a smart guy. Like I wonder. I'm gonna have to ask him because like I grow up Travis Wright. Everybody call me Travis wrong. I wonder how many people like mispronounced his name. Hey, dumbass, and he's all like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you." And like Lee went to become one of the smartest, entrepreneurs talking about. I bet there was a little bit of that inside him that said, "Oh yeah, I got the dog in me.
I'll show you,
I'm gonna
dumbass.
show you all now." Yeah, I bet.
I'll
I can
show
see
you.
that.
Senator Cynthia Lummis has the RISE Act, which is being brought before Congress. What is this all about? Responsible innovation and safe expertise. The goal here is to have barriers, liability around barriers for future innovation by exposing especially AI developers to unnecessary legal risks. It's designed to protect them from being sued in a civil court of law so that physicians, attorneys, engineers, and other professionals can understand what the AI can and cannot do before relying on it. I'm not sure where the
Oh, he's
burden
calling
of
it the first targeted, what was it? The first targeted bill towards professional AI, right? Because it's like there's a lot of stuff happening so quickly with AI, dude. I was thinking about this is that, AI is so powerful. We're going to cover a little bit more in the AI part of our show. But I mean, I could see Iran sort of saying, okay, we're going to step off the nukes, but China's is going to be like, hey, we've been working on this AI. If we don't get that regime change, they're just going to be like, here, have this crazy destructive AI shit, right? And it's like that's that we are in an AI arms war, if people know it or not. If you haven't seen it, there's a video from based on a report called AI 2027 about what happens when AI actually escapes its containers and kind of goes off on its own. And then there's like we can see like we're really close to Chat GPT 5 and AI is doubling every like 4.5 months. Like we've just seen all these crazy tools that's popping off. And so it's like we do kind of need some rails around it, but then these other countries aren't going to pay attention to the rails. And this is a really good segue into the AI stuff. How much more crypto news do we have?
Well, really, just a warning for everybody. Warning, warning. There's a couple stories in
Yeah.
today's news that you can go deeper and read, but Trezor is warning their customers about phishing emails that are mimicking customer support. Of course, that's happening from Ledger as well. It's happening
That
from
happened to my buddy
Coinbase.
Dr. Jones, dude. And then especially with all this other data leaks, and then they're pounding him with phone calls and text messages saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, your account's being violated. It's being violated. Oh, you know." And it's he clicked the link. Next thing you know, boom,
Boom.
drained his wallet.
Yep, don't do it. They're not going to text you to tell you there's a problem. They're not going to call you on the phone, tell you there's a
Yeah.
problem. And if you have 2FA on, guess what? Unless they have jacked your SIM card, then it's not even possible for there to be a problem. CoinMarketCap had an exploit on the front end. 76 wallets were drained when people connected to it, and there was a rogue pop-up that came up, and all of a sudden it triggered a malicious code through an API call, and wallets were drained. You got to be super, super careful
Yeah.
about what you're doing with your cryptos. And honestly, nowhere is completely 100% safe. This is, for me, this is why I've got my keys divided up,
Mhm.
because even if you wanted to get to, the minimal amount of Bitcoin that I had, I don't have a way to get it to you. Like, this stuff is divided up, and it's not an easy thing because I'm planning on holding what I've got for the long run so it can actually be valuable.
Yeah.
If
You
only
know,
I hadn't
actually, see,
capitulated.
real quick though, CZ actually said, "Hey, if you got on the coin market cap deal, he
Mhm.
got your back. They're going to cover you
Oh,
for it."
nice.
Nice. So he was like FDICZ right there, which is pretty nice.
All right, let's talk AI. You're using
Oh, no, one other thing, but yeah, we'll get to AI. Cointelegraph had that too. So their main webpage was hacked, offering free airdrops. So we got to be careful. We got to always assume it's bullshit until you can verify it. Go to, what I'll be doing is like, I'll take it. I'll be like, hey, this is just happening. What's up with this? Is there any news or anything? I'll go to perplexity.ai and ask, and it'll give me a response back to help protect my assets. I'll always double check and triple check a lot of times because I don't trust mainstream news, and I don't trust half the news that comes to me. I don't trust a third of it,
if
really.
it
I
if it
always got to
sounds
verify.
too good to be true, it probably is. So, when you're if there's an airdrop, let's say you're holding an NFT and there's supposed to be a token drop, you better go to the official Discord, see what it's saying there, see what the community's saying, see what's in the official links, and just to double triple check that that's not BS and that hasn't been hacked, go on the other socials as well. Because if it's been hacked, you're going to probably hear about it on one of the other socials. Hey, don't access our Discord. We've been hacked. But just connecting your wallet higgledy piggledy in blind faith that it's true, you shouldn't ever higgledy piggledy anything in life.
I don't even know what that is, but that's a good made up term you just said.
Don't higgle. You never heard higgledy piggledy?
Piggly piggly. No, I've heard of piggly wiggly. That's a rest. That's a
That's a grocery store.
piggly. Whatever you
No,
just said. No,
higgledy piggledy.
dude, is that like a Illinois term or like an Oklahoma? Where the hell did you get
Well,
that?
let's go to Grok, and we'll just, what does the term higgle d mean? We're gonna find out if I'm like just a total.
Just
Uh,
make that shit up.
the term higgledy piggledy means a state of disorder, confusion, or chaos, jumbled or mixed up without any clear organization. It's often used to describe things that are scattered, messy, or arranged haphazardly. For example, the books were stacked higgledy piggledy on the shelf, making it hard to find anything. The
Dude, that's
phrase
got to be some
likely.
old school Southern sort of weird,
No,
like
it's not Southern. It's the phrase
kind of reminds me of
likely.
like cattywampus. You ever heard that term,
I
catty?
love cattywampus. That's a great term. It likely originated in the late 16th century, possibly from the chaotic herding of pigs, with higgle and piggle being playful rhyming sounds. It's a whimsical way to describe disarray.
Okay, all
That
right.
sounds like a song right there.
Jeffrey Chaucer type shit.
Yeah. Higgledy piggledy, a whimsical way to describe disarray.
Oh my God.
Okay,
That
let's
was
talk
great. I didn't
AI.
even for that. Yeah, so here's a piece of news around, as Joel's written 15 books, like he doesn't want his books just to be given higgledy piggledy to all these AIs.
I do
Guess
not.
what? Anthropic wins and says, sorry, this is fair use. Suck it, Joel Comm, and your
Yeah.
15 books. We're taking them and we're adding it to our training data regardless.
I might have to have a conversation with them and haggle paggledy with them because this is
Yeah. So the judge has said that that's fair use of books to train the AI. That's going to piss off a lot. Ann Handley, I know that'll really piss her off because
yeah.
she was ranting about that on LinkedIn and some others. But here's the thing. I mean, like they've stored more than 7 million pirated books. They got them in a central library, and they were saying that this is infringing upon the author's copyrights and not fair use. And the judge has said, it's fair use. Because guess what? If we're not doing it, China's going to do it.
I
I
don't
mean,
know if that's a
is
good
that a good case?
is that a good reason?
I don't know. They're gonna. So then what'll happen is all the AIs in America will. Oh, we can't use any of these books to. Guess what? It's already been done. Why are you gonna? How are you gonna undo it?
My stuff's been pirated for as long as I've been writing books anyway. And I used to track it down. I used to get them
Yeah.
taken off, PDFs taken off of websites. And finally I was like, screw it. It's not worth my time. People who I kind of look at it this way. If you need my material so much that you're willing to steal it, then you can have it.
I first met you by stealing your book.
Yeah, you did. Still haven't paid me.
There's a website called thevault.bz. It doesn't exist anymore, but it had all these business resources on it, and you just had to download the torrent. So
Yeah.
I downloaded gigabytes of that shit, dude.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, thief.
so I was like, suck it, Joel Comm.
Thief.
I'm like,
Still, I mean, did you learn from it? Did you make any money from
yeah,
it?
I learned about, you know what? I did get my first AdSense check, and I got it on my wall still. I took a picture of it. $103 from AdSense, baby.
Nice. That's
Thanks.
great.
It's that good Google money. You know what I mean, baby? It's that Google money. So, also, this is pretty wild. AI and robo taxis. Tesla has actually revealed and unleashed their robo taxis all throughout Austin. It's getting mixed reviews. Some of them are saying, "Wow, can you not drive? You're an idiot driving it like almost going off the road." And other people are saying, "Oh my God, it was the most smoothest experience. It's like I had a freaking a limo driver who's a high class guy driving my vehicle. So smooth." Some people say not so smooth. A lot of people hate Tesla right now anyway, so I don't know if I would trust the negative ones or the positive ones. Try one yourself, maybe.
Can the robo taxi do the robo boogie?
Mm-mm.
That's really what I want to know.
Boom,
Robo boogie. So according to the Crunchy Tech, look at the size of this ad. Look how annoying this ad is here.
Oh my God, that is ginormous.
That is a massive ad. How do I see an ad? It just about covered my content. Suck it.
Dude, that's literally like almost pushes your shit below the fold.
Right? Over 1 million people now have access to the Gen AI powered Alexa Plus, which by the way, I won't use it. I don't have an Alexa. Sorry, I just set off your your device there, everybody. But I don't like the always listening stuff.
Interesting. And then I got one more. I'm not a big fan of that as well. But what I would actually like is, I was thinking like, man, I'd love to be able to talk to Perplexity while I'm driving.
Mhm.
Why can't I talk to Perplexity? It's a pain in the ass. I got to literally still get on my phone and say, "Oh, I got a question right now." I should be able to be
Soon.
like, "Hey, Perplexity."
Soon, plugins and stuff.
Yeah.
What site do you want me to pull up?
Android is popping out really soon. Actually, it's a tweet that came out, and I will send it to you in the signals. So basically, a couple weeks ago, you were on vacation still, and Sam Altman acquired Johnny Ives' business, right? He had a company called Love From. Johnny Ives, the guy who built the iPod, built the iPhone, reimagined the Mac. He's like probably the best designer of all. And so Google basically was going to make these really smart earbuds. Showed OpenAI. They heard the pitch, they passed, but Johnny Ive got it to try before copying it. He basically has copied it, and now Altman bought their company for $6.5 billion, and they call it IO. So Google was spinning out a product that now Johnny Ive and Sam Altman are basically creating. So it's an interesting potential tech lawsuit that's popping up and all the different things that's happening from it. And so maybe it's some corporate espionage going on there, Mr. Joel Comm.
Yeah, crazy what happens when you're working with billions of dollars in technology that people are banking on paving the way, the future of society and the world, and how we operate.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Real quick before you speaking about the speaks, is that Google had a lot of these open AI technologies, and their scientists innovated a lot of these things, but they never wanted to unleash them. They had all these internal dialogues. We're going to unleash it. We're going to unleash it. No, we're not, because it's going to cannibalize our search business. So
hmm,
they never released them. Then in November 2022, OpenAI just said plop. They dropped the nuts on the table, and then Google was like, "Oh damn!" And so now it's a race, right? And so
search is getting blockbustered,
big
basically.
time,
But
big time.
which, by the way, Netflix, and I feel like Netflix is the next one to get blockbustered. I feel like the streaming services are, as studios, they're not making money. I feel like everybody's having to jack their prices. We're right back where we were before. Instead of paying one cable provider for all the different channels, we're now paying Netflix, Hulu,
Which
Prime.
we bitched
Yeah,
about. Well, we should be able to buy them independently.
yeah,
Dude, I saw
but they're
somebody
jacking the
use a
prices.
tool called minimax.io. Minimax.io is a platform. It's a Chinese AI platform, app builder. They basically told it in one prompt to rebuild Netflix, and they did. And it built it like, oh, it basically looks exactly like it. It clicked through it, and works just like it. So, man, I've been building so much cool shit with AI and using these different tools, and man, I kind of see people building their own custom use tools. Like, I don't necessarily need an app from the App Store. I kind of want to build my own custom one. So I built a really cool life tracker that's kind of tracking my weight, my sleep, my workouts, my meditations, what vitamins I'm consuming, my nutrition, how much water I'm drinking. It's just sort of keeping track how many times I go to the gym, what exercise I'm doing, what food am I consuming the most of, that I built custom to me, right? And so we're entering a really, really wild time, Joel. It's like what we've known is not what's going to happen going forward when it comes to these technologies.
Is your app tracking your Bristol scale?
I did think about that when we had our conversation. Like every time I drop a deuce, it should be like, "Hey, is it
Well,
like?"
tell people what the Bristol scale is for those who might not know.
So the Bristol scale is a way of gauging how solid or consistent your poop is, right? So like if you have a Bristol scale 1, that's super runny.
That's diarrhea.
That's diarrhea. You're shitting out you're pissing out your asshole, essentially. You know, the perfect one is a Bristol 4. That's a nice loaf. It's a nice consistency. It's like a big Tootsie Roll coming out smooth, and like you just gotta wipe like once. That's a
It's
Bristol 4.
a
Bristol
four.
4s are the premium deuce that you can take. Bristol 7s, oh my, you got Bristol 7, you got. And with
That
Joel and I
can
were
kill
talking,
you. A Bristol 7, I guarantee a Bristol 7 has killed some people.
a Bristol 7, you're sitting there trying to take a deuce, bust out a Bristol 7,
Yeah,
and they died. And
yeah.
they're like, And so how great would that be? You're dropping a deuce, and then you, peace out, deuces, I'm out. I died
Be
while taking a
interesting to
shit.
if you track your Bristol scale chart to see if it coincides with Bitcoin somehow.
It probably could coincide with the food that I'm eating. It'd be like, oh, did you
Oh.
have corn today? Well, yes, I did. I noticed your Bristol 4 had some corn kernels.
Going back to what you were saying about AI, Hollywood is completely freaking out right now, right? Because there's another new tool that
Yeah.
allegedly is better than Veo 3 for doing
Yep.
video. And it's just going to be a matter of time
And
before.
Midjourney 7 videos, you can go back and animate all
Right.
those videos. It's
So
so much.
somebody's going to make a full major motion picture for a fraction. They're going to make a movie that looks like $100 million production, and they're going to do it for $500,000, right? Or $1 million
Or less. Yeah,
or
really.
less. And
Yeah.
here's this is where I think the future of streaming fails, because we're going to be coming into a time where people make their own entertainment. They're, I want a story, a sci-fi film, and I want the protagonist to be a female, and she's this old and she looks like this, and I need original storyline that I never see coming. And you're going to have custom entertainment. And so in
Well,
my
they
heart
already
of
are
hearts,
now. They figured out how to have consistent characters. That's been the problem, is like you can't keep consistent ones. Now you can. There's some tools out.
Hmm?
I saw a dude
let me
make.
finish making my point.
Okay, make your point. Yeah,
I'm going somewhere with this.
cut off your point.
So if we're entering an era where entertainment is custom to each user, what do we need Hollywood for to produce stuff? And what I would love to see, Blockbuster, pay attention. You're still a company. You still have one store somewhere, I think. What I want to see is for Blockbuster to invest in AI and become the production studio that allows you to create your own movies, and then Blockbuster will blockbuster Netflix.
Oh man, how
It'll
great was
come
that?
full circle.
Oh man, better go buy some
Okay,
Blockbuster stock. Is it
I've
still?
made my point. Your turn, sir.
It's really good. Well, no, my whole point was all around just the consistent characters, but things are advancing so quick. Like it's just I play around with this stuff and I'm like, I mean, because I don't know, I know how to do HTML and CSS and JavaScript, but I've never been a great back end coder to be able to put stuff together and do that. But now anybody can code. And so that whole thing, like learn to code, like that, it's irrelevant because you don't need to learn to code. Now you kind of learn the coding principles as you go, because you can see like, oh, this, oh, highlight this. Oh, look at this. That is not so great. And, so what I would say is if you're tuned in this far, have you built something cool yet? There's a couple of tools. One is called abacus.ai. Check that out. If you built something cool, make sure to comment on our Twitter or on our YouTube or anywhere else where we are. Just send us a message. Show us what you've done. I want to see what cool people have done. I also, as we mentioned last time, Joel and I both have Substacks. So make sure you connect on those. All the notes will be in our show notes here, but go ahead and connect on those areas. And I even have a school, SKOOL .com/AI dash agent dash economy, which I should probably make a short code for. The school to teach people as I'm learning this shit. I'm teaching people as we go too, because it's just fun. I'm doing it. I'm diving in. We've always been educators around here. We like to teach as we figure shit out. So Joel and I both are shit figure outers. So we're going to continue to figure shit out and share it along the way.
Listen, on the Bristol scale of shit figure outers, we're perfect fours.
We are perfect loaves.
Yes. So we appreciate you guys. Make sure you go review our loafs as you review your loaf, and give us 5 stars over there on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you consume us in your ear holes. We appreciate you. We'll catch you on the next episode. Hopefully we're going to the moon soon, gang. So stay bad.
Get your loaf. Oh, wait.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.